During the past 24 hours, Russian forces have carried out 34 raids on the Azovstal plant, 8 with the use of strategic bombers. According to estimates, there are still over 100 civilians on the site of the plant. The area around Chernihiv was also shelled. Rockets hit Odessa 3 times, where Charles Michel, President of the European Council, was on a working visit at the time. For the first time in many decades, there is no normal movement of the merchant fleet in Odessa. There is no normal operation of the port. Most likely, such a situation has not taken place since the Second World War. This is a blow not only for Ukraine. Without our agricultural exports, dozens of countries in various parts of the world are already on the brink of food shortages. And over time, things can get even worse. This is a direct consequence of Russian aggression. We can overcome this together by uniting Europe and the entire free world. We can overcome this by putting pressure on Russia, by efficiently forcing it to end this heinous war. Another missile strike against Odessa was carried out. This time 7 missiles were launched. However, we have the impression that they were outdated missiles, probably made back in the Soviet times. Our opponent is probably running out of ammunition. Civilian bombings, remote from military infrastructure, were struck. A shopping mall and a warehouse were hit. Unfortunately, there are fatalities among the people in the warehouse. 3 workers at the mall were injured. The Ukrainian armed forces recaptured the village of Biohorivka and destroyed Russian pontoon bridges over the Donetsk River. Since the beginning of the invasion of Ukraine, Russia has already lost almost 26,000 soldiers, 1,170 tanks, 199 aircraft, and 94 cruise missiles. United States President Joe Biden signed the Lend-Lease Act to facilitate the shipment of arms and military equipment to Ukraine and NATO's eastern flank countries, and called on Congress to approve the aid application for Kiev.
I'm signing a bill that provides another important tool in our efforts to support the government of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people in their fight to defend their country and their democracy against Putin's brutal war. And it is brutal. I want to thank members of Congress here for getting this passed and everyone who supported the bill. And the bill demonstrates the support for Ukraine is pivotal at this moment. Every day, Ukrainians pay with their lives, and they fight along the atrocities that the Russians are engaging in are just beyond the pale. And the cost of the fight is not cheap, but caving to aggression is even more costly. That's why we're staying in this.
For the first time since the 24th of February, a representative of the government of the Federal Republic of Germany travelled to Kiev. The head of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Annalena Baerbock, visited Bucha and met the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dimitri Kuleba. She was accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, Wopke Hoekstra. Here you can clearly feel that each of us can be such a victim. Bucha is as a suburb of Kiev is like Potsdam for Berlin. There are playgrounds, supermarkets, people usually go to work, and right next to it you can see the traces of the worst crimes. In this church there are pictures of people who did what every human being did. Got up in the morning, did their job, and then they were killed in cold blood. We will support the investigation of war crimes and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. We owe it to the victims. The Japanese government has decided to extend the sanctions imposed on Russia for its aggression against Ukraine. Meanwhile, yesterday in Paris, as a sign of solidarity with Kiev, the Eiffel Tower was illuminated in the colours of the Ukrainian flag, and in Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate also.